Welcome back to Wonder Garden, the place where simple yet effective tips for orchid care and propagation are shared. Did you know that faded orchid spikes, the ones most people throw away, can actually become the starting point for a whole new generation of orchids? In today's video, I'll show you how to propagate orchids from old flower spikes using just a few simple ingredients, most of which you probably already have in your kitchen. When done right, you'll see your orchids sprouting new shoots and growing strong in no time. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on more easy but powerful orchid care tips. Now, let's get started. In my hand right now is a spent dendrobium orchid cane. The leaves have fallen and the blooms have faded. To many people, this might seem like the perfect time to cut it off and toss it away, thinking it's no longer of any value. But not so fast. The truth is, canes like these still hold a lot of hidden life. With just a bit of proper care, you can actually turn them into healthy baby orchids, ready to start a whole new life cycle full of beauty and growth. First, take a close look at the orchid cane and identify the nodes that contain sleeping eyes. These are the segments that have never bloomed before. They usually appear slightly swollen and are located along the length of the cane. I will cut and keep 3 segments that contain these dormant nodes. These parts have the potential to grow into new shoots and roots if stimulated properly. To protect the cut surfaces after separating the segments, I'll use candle wax to seal each cut end. In addition to the English voice, we have now created dubbed voices in French, German, Italian, Spanish, Portuguese, Japanese, Hindi, and Indonesian to help you understand the content more easily. Listen in your preferred language by opening the video and clicking on Settings, the gear icon, to select the appropriate audio language. This method is simple but highly effective. The wax layer helps prevent bacteria and fungi from entering, while also reducing moisture loss, allowing the orchid segments to stay alive and healthy longer during the propagation process. Finally, to encourage faster sprouting, I'll carefully peel off the thin protective sheaths covering the dormant buds. Next, to treat and stimulate the buds, I'll use a piece of fresh ginger, a simple, easily accessible ingredient found in almost every kitchen. Ginger contains natural antibacterial and antifungal compounds that help clean the surface of the orchid cutting, while also stimulating the growth of new shoots and roots. You can crush or finely chop the ginger like this. It helps release its beneficial compounds more effectively. After chopping the ginger, I'll place all of it into a clean glass cup. Next, I pour in about 500 milliliters of boiling water and cover it tightly to retain the heat, allowing the active compounds in the ginger to be released more effectively. We'll let this mixture steep until it cools down completely. By then, we'll have a natural ginger solution that not only has antibacterial properties, but also works wonderfully to stimulate new growth. Once the ginger water has completely cooled, I'll use a strainer to remove the pulp and keep only the extracted liquid. This is the part that contains the essential extracts from the ginger, which help fight bacteria and stimulate new shoots to grow. Next, I'll dilute this ginger extract with about 1 liter of clean water. Diluting it makes the solution gentle enough not to shock the orchid cuttings, while still retaining its stimulating and protective effects. Now, I'm going to soak the prepared orchid cuttings in the diluted ginger solution. Let them soak for about 30 minutes. This step is crucial for gentle disinfection and stimulating the dormant nodes to sprout more quickly. I'll make use of the remaining ginger solution to treat the moss before using it as a growing medium. I'll soak all the moss in the ginger water for a few minutes. This method helps eliminate fungi, bacteria, and potential pathogens in the moss, ensuring a clean and safe environment for the young orchids to grow stronger and healthier. After soaking the orchid stems in the ginger solution for 30 minutes, I'll take them out, and use a clean paper towel to gently blot the excess moisture. This helps keep the stems dry and reduces the risk of prolonged dampness, which can lead to stem rot. After disinfecting the moss, it also needs to be gently squeezed to remove excess water, just like this, so that it retains only a moderate level of moisture. This helps prevent waterlogging and creates a well-ventilated environment, making it easier for the dormant buds to sprout and develop roots. To provide the best conditions for the orchid buds to grow, I'll recycle a plastic container like this to make a mini greenhouse, both cost-effective and highly efficient. First, spread a layer of the treated moss at the bottom of the container. Then gently place the orchid cuttings on top, making sure the dormant buds face upward and are not completely covered. The plastic container with a lid will help maintain stable humidity, creating an ideal environment for the orchids to sprout. During the propagation process, you should lightly mist about once a week, depending on the dryness inside the container. Avoid overwatering to prevent rot. Finally, place the container in a bright, well-ventilated area, but away from direct sunlight. After 2 weeks, you can see the dormant nodes on the orchid stem starting to sprout small white shoots. Interestingly, roots have also begun to appear at this stage. This is a very positive sign, showing that the nodes are adapting to their new environment and preparing to grow. At this point, you just need to continue misting periodically, keeping the propagation environment moist but not overly wet, and patiently wait for the results. After 2 months, I'm truly surprised and very pleased. After just 2 months of patiently caring for the orchid cuttings using this method, the young plants have grown remarkably well. As you can see, new roots have formed densely at the base of the dormant nodes. The young stems have noticeably grown, and the leaves are lush and glossy, all signs that the plants are ready to enter a new stage of growth. Once your orchid reaches this stage, you can completely separate and pot each plant individually. I'll use large pieces of pine bark as the main growing medium. Then cover it with a layer of finely crushed bark to help retain some moisture. I will use moss to cover the surface of the pot, with a thin layer to prevent the plant from damaging its new roots when in direct contact with the substrate. After that, I'll place the young orchid on top of the medium and use a clip to secure the base of the plant to the rim of the pot, helping it stay upright during the early stage of growth. Note, there's no need to cover the upper part of the stem with additional medium or moss, as the orchid will naturally spread its roots and anchor itself to the medium below over time. Be patient in caring for and nurturing these tiny orchid sprouts. You'll be rewarded with not only healthy orchid pots, but also the joy of watching them grow day by day under your own hands. What do you think about this method of propagating orchids from faded flower spikes? Leave a comment below to share your experience and join the discussion with others. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share it with fellow orchid lovers, and subscribe to Wonder Garden for more useful tips. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to Wonder Garden. Today I'll share with you a way to propagate orchids from bloomed flower stems. A very simple and effective method that allows you to propagate orchids at home without needing advanced techniques or specialized tools. With just a few easy steps, you can fully utilize faded flower stems to create new, healthy, and vibrant orchid plants. This method is especially suitable for beginners in orchid care, or those who want to save costs while adding more beautiful orchid pots to their garden. I have created subtitles in multiple languages. Please select your preferred language, comment below, and let me know which country you are watching from. It's amazing that we can connect from all around the world. Let's get started. This orchid has just finished blooming, and now I'll cut the flower stem to start propagating. The best time to propagate orchids is when the petals begin to fade. Nodes that have already bloomed can no longer produce new shoots, so I'll cut off this part. When propagating orchids from flower stems, it's crucial to select the nodes that haven't bloomed yet and still have growth potential. These are the spots where the plant can produce new shoots if cared for properly. So, I'll keep the green, unopened nodes for propagation. I'm gently removing the protective layer covering the dormant bud, which is like a thin coat enveloping the orchid's sleeping node. Once this layer is removed, the bud can easily interact with air and moisture, stimulating the sprouting process to happen faster. This is a small but very important step in propagating orchids from flower stems. I'm trimming the orchid stem again to ensure it's not crushed, as a clean, neat cut helps limit bacterial infection. This diagonal cut not only allows the wound to dry faster, but also increases the surface area for water contact, helping the cutting absorb moisture and nutrients better during propagation. After cutting, I'll apply a thin layer of cinnamon powder to the cut. Cinnamon has natural antibacterial properties, helping the cut heal quickly while preventing bacteria and mold from causing rot. This is a critical step to ensure the cutting doesn't get damaged during the propagation process. Next, I'll add 1 teaspoon of cinnamon powder to a container. And mix it with 500 milliliters of hot water. Soaking the orchid stem in this cinnamon solution helps disinfect, stimulates root formation, and protects the bud from fungal infections during propagation. We'll let the mixture cool before using it to avoid damaging the plant's tender tissues. Next, I'll prepare an aloe vera leaf. Aloe vera contains salicylic acid and natural enzymes that stimulate root formation, helping the cutting develop roots quickly and healthily. I'll insert the orchid cutting into the aloe vera gel for about 1 hour. Aloe vera protects the cut from infections, harmful bacteria, or fungi. Additionally, aloe vera contains essential minerals and vitamins, including calcium, magnesium, zinc, and vitamins C and E, supporting the healthy development of young plants. The compounds in aloe vera help the cutting withstand harsh environmental conditions, increasing its survival and growth chances. After inserting the cutting into the aloe gel, I'll wait about 1 hour for the nutrients to penetrate deeply into the orchid stem, preparing it for the next propagation step. After 1 hour, I'll remove the orchid stem from the aloe gel. Next, I'll cut the aloe vera leaf into small pieces. Place them in a clean glass jar. And add about 1 liter of hot water. This mixture will be steeped to create a nutrient-rich solution that promotes root formation and boosts the cutting's resilience. Once the water has cooled, I'll mix the cinnamon water and aloe water together to create a nutrient-packed solution. Aloe vera contains oxygen and salicylic acid, which stimulate sprouting and root development, while also providing essential vitamins like C and E, along with key minerals such as calcium, magnesium, and zinc, helping the cutting grow healthily from the early stages. Meanwhile, cinnamon contains compounds that stimulate cell division, promoting faster and stronger root growth. Cinnamon is also highly effective at preventing mold, root rot, and keeping the propagation environment clean, thanks to its natural antibacterial bioactive compounds. When combined, cinnamon and aloe create a solution that not only promotes root formation, but also enhances the cutting's resistance to environmental stressors and harmful insects. Soak the orchid flower stem in this mixture for 20 minutes. I'll use the remaining solution to care for other orchids. Wiping orchid leaves with the cinnamon and aloe mixture brings many benefits. It not only keeps the leaves glossy, but also enhances the overall health of the orchid plant. Dust on leaves can reduce the plant's ability to absorb light, making photosynthesis less efficient. Wiping leaves with this mixture removes that dust layer, cleans the leaf surface, improves light absorption, and boosts photosynthesis efficiency. Aloe Vera Gel provides natural moisture, preventing leaves from drying out or losing water too quickly, especially important in dry weather or when the plant is in direct light. Additionally, cinnamon's distinctive scent can repel some pests like spider mites, mealybugs, and other small insects, protecting the plant naturally. Applying this leaf wiping method about 1 to 2 times a month will help maintain glossy, healthy orchid leaves and contribute to improving the plant's overall resilience. Next, I'll use this mixture to water the base of the orchid pot. The aloe in the solution contains boron and salicylic acid, 2 compounds that stimulate new root formation and help roots grow faster and stronger. Boron supports metabolism and cell division, while salicylic acid enhances the plant's immune system, protecting it from harmful agents in the soil. Additionally, cinnamon is a natural biostimulant that accelerates cell division, making orchid roots grow not only faster, but also longer and more firmly anchored in the medium. To propagate orchids from flower nodes, I'll prepare the initial medium using dry moss. Dry moss has excellent moisture retention, a necessary condition for orchid nodes to sprout and develop roots. Before using, I'll soak the dry moss in the cinnamon and aloe water mixture. This mixture not only disinfects, but also adds nutrients to the medium. I'll soak the moss in this mixture for about 20 minutes. After soaking the moss for enough time, I'll take it out and gently squeeze it to retain just the right amount of moisture. Not too dry, but not waterlogged. Now we can start propagating the orchid from the flower nodes. I'll gently insert the orchid stem into a pot lined with a layer of moist moss at the bottom. An important note is to place the node close to the moss surface to ensure good contact with moisture, but avoid burying the stem too deep in the medium. This helps prevent stem rot. Mist the orchid cutting with water to maintain humidity once a week. Then, I'll cover the pot with a transparent plastic lid with ventilation holes. Place the propagation pot in an area with soft sunlight, avoiding direct midday sun. The ideal temperature for orchid nodes to sprout and grow healthily is 23 to 28 degrees Celsius, equivalent to about 73 to 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Results after 45 days of propagation. You can see the orchid has started sprouting and developing a healthy root system. This is a very positive sign that the propagation process was successful. However, the orchid is still quite small and not sturdy enough to be planted in a larger outdoor environment. So, I've decided to continue nurturing the plant in this propagation pot until it grows larger and more stable. I'll keep watering with the nutrient solution once a week and maintain the pot in an area with soft sunlight, allowing the plant to develop slowly but steadily. Results after another 45 days since initial propagation. You can see that after a total of 90 days, the orchid stem cut from the old flower base has developed remarkably. The leaves are sturdy, dark green, and the roots are long and healthy. Now, I'll plant these orchids in an outdoor environment. I'm using crushed pine bark as the medium because it retains the necessary moisture to prevent the orchid from drying out, while offering excellent drainage, reducing the risk of waterlogging and root rot, a common issue in orchid care. We'll cover the surface with a thin layer of moss. This moss layer helps maintain stable humidity around the orchid's base, creating ideal conditions for the plant to quickly adapt to the new environment without stress. Place the orchid on top and secure it firmly. After planting, water regularly whenever the medium dries out to maintain humidity. Absolutely avoid fertilizing in the early stage. Wait until new roots have developed and firmly anchored in the medium. From a part of the plant that seemed like just faded flowers, you now have a new, vibrant orchid. This simple method is not only effective but also very cost-efficient, allowing you to repurpose flower stems after blooming. Instead of discarding them, you can turn them into beautiful new orchid pots at home. A propagation method that's natural and beginner-friendly. If you're patient and devoted every day, caring with love, one day soon, you'll have a radiant garden, where your orchid pots bloom beautifully, sparkling like a gift from nature. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe to catch all my orchid growing tips. Wishing you lots of luck and endless joy in your orchid care journey.